Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a little books I read in 2024 video, so let's get this started. So the first book I read in 2024 was The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. This is the first book in the Bridgerton series. I really loved it. It was really good. It's very excited to read Kate and Anthony's love story. That's my favorite personally that we have so far. This book I rated 3.5 stars. It was really good. I love historical romances. Pride and Prejudice is like my favorite, but I really liked reading this. So also, look what my dad built me. It's the little Harry Potter shop. I don't know if y'all can see it really well. I love it. The second book I read was A Court of Thorns and Roses. Y'all, this is my favorite book I've ever read in my entire life. I rated this 5 stars, but 10 stars if I could really. 10 stars. This book is so good and it means so much to me. I probably will reread this series. That's how good it is. This book is about Feyre and her life with her sisters and her getting taken by this beast man called Tamlin. He's the High Lord of the Spring Court. And then you like figure out their love story, and then yeah, there is enemies to lovers, plot twists, lovers to enemies, like. Also, it's in a world where there's hot fairy lords, like 2 of my favorite characters, their heights are 6'5" and 6'7". And I'm tall, so I need a tall man. I love this book so much. The third book I read was A Court of Mist and Fury. This one has trials in it, and we find out more about the characters' personalities and stuff and what they went through, and it's just like, this book is really good. So I would rate this 4.5 stars. Sarah J Maas, any man that Sarah J Maas makes, except for one of them, which I'm not going to say it because y'all figure it out for yourself, I'm obsessed with. Don't play. Well, I also made Feyre and her sister's dresser. I don't know if y'all can see it. And I thought it was so cute. I got this idea from Brittany Broski. She painted it for one of her friends' birthdays. This is the 4th book I read. I tried to finish the entire series because I was eating it up. This book wasn't my favorite of the series. It would probably be my least favorite. I rate this a 3 stars. It just wasn't my favorite. It wasn't the best, but it was still a really good book. Court of Wings and Ruin. So the 5th book I read was obviously going to be A Court of Frost and Starlight, which is the 3.5 book. It was just a cute little Christmas edition book. I rated this 3 stars too. Again, not my favorite, but it was just cute. Like, you don't have to read this, but if you want to. This was my favorite book of the series. I rated 5 stars. I'll rate it 10. I love Cassian. I love that man. The next book that is coming out will be Azriel's love story. I love Azriel. I love the Bad Boys. If y'all don't love the Bad Boys, what is going on? It was a little traumatizing, okay? This book involved a war, a lot of fighting, a lot of injuries, a lot of sadness. But nobody died. Nobody died. Nobody important, at least. The 7th book I read was Fourth Wing. 10 stars. I love this. It's a Dragon Academy. Hot Shadow Daddy Xaden is my book boyfriend number 4. No, number 3. It goes Azriel, Cassian, Xaden Ryerson. A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without their dragon is dead. Welcome to the Fourth Wing. This book actually made me cry. This was the only book I've read, except for A Court of Silver Flames, that made me hysterically cry. I'll insert a photo. Actually, I'm kind of traumatized. I might not. While reading this, I was listening to the dramatized version. I read this in March and I was sobbing. I'm actually afraid to read Iron Flame. I've had it in my bookshelf for like a few months now, and I plan on reading it this year because the 3rd book is coming out this month. But I'm traumatized. It's so good though. It's such a good book. I'm so excited to read that one. I'm just nervous. I'll probably end up reading that one on my Kindle because I don't want to ruin the books. They're so freaking nice. And I got my best friend bought me the blacked out edition. so the rims are like black. I read the first book of The Cruel Prince, but like it wasn't necessarily bad. It was bad. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I like the characters a lot. I love Jude and I love Cardan. I like the banter with them, but I don't really like The Cruel Prince. I wish there was spice, more romance, but there's really not. I rated this 2 stars. Then the next book I read, I was like, oh, maybe the second book's better. Sometimes when the first book isn't as good, the second book, the third book is always going to be better. It was a little bit better, The Wicked King. But I still didn't like this. I rated it 3 stars. That's pretty high too. I started The Queen of Nothing and then I stopped. I'll try to finish it this year, but it was not for me. It was not very good. I didn't like that series. Love Cardan and Jude, hate the series. The next book I read was the first Vampire Academy book by Rochelle Mead. I read this because the Peacock show came out and it was so good. I watched it like 3 times. And I also watched the movie with my mom in the movie theaters when I was like 12. I don't know. Loved it. It was just like the movie, but completely different from the show. I still really like this book. I rated it at 3.5 stars. This is like a Vampire Academy, hot guardians. I love Dimitri. Dimitri in the show and the movie. Smash. The next book I read, I actually don't have. I'll put it right here. I let my cousin borrow it because it was such a good book and she never gave it back. I gave it to her in June. Mia, Where's the Nanny? This book is The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. I rated it 4.5 stars. It was my first romance book that wasn't historical or fantasy. It's about this woman who is an ex-spicy cam girl. She goes to work for this rich chef and finds out that he was her #1 viewer and like they had like kind of a relationship, but they didn't see each other's faces. And it was crazy. The next book I read was Queen Charlotte by Julia Quinn. I loved the series when it came out on Netflix, so I decided to read it, and this book was really good. I rate it 4.5 stars. I love historical romance, like I said. This book was really good. You read it before you read the Bridgerton series, but I didn't do that because I'm stupid. This is the 13th book I've read this year. I took the cover off because I thought this was so pretty. This is The Serpent and the Wings of Mother Freaking Night. I love this book. I'm reading the second book right now. I love this book so much I tabbed it. The cave scene? Y'all, the cave scene. Okay. You know it's good when they add a map into the book. Like, you know the book's gonna be good if it has a map. I love the MMC. He's number 4 on my book boyfriends. Oh, and they also have like, they have words for people like that don't understand. Like, instead of saying like, what the, they say X's tits. They have a glossary for all these made up names like asterisks and extras. Okay, Rain Ashraj gives Touch Her and You Die. I love him. Rain, beautiful, handsome man, love him. I rated this 5 stars. It's a slow burn. It is a slow burn. This book had me kicking my feet, giggling, gasping, screaming, crying, and even feeling betrayal. The plot twist at the end of the book had me in shock, I would say. My 14th book of the year was Pride and Prejudice. My favorite movie. I love Mr. Darcy. I read this twice, so I have 2 versions of this book. I got the Barnes & Noble edition and then obviously like the regular edition from like Five Below. 5 stars. Love historical romance. Love Mr. Darcy. Pride and Prejudice. Any Jane Austen novel is gonna eat. Like, I also have the Emma and I want to read this. The 15th book I read was actually sent to me. It is Fake as Puck by Sarah Smith. It's the first book in the Denver Basher series. She sent it to me. She's a great author. She's very kind. I rated this 4 stars. It was spicy. It was really, really spicy. It was really good. I've never read a hockey romance, and that hockey romance is really good. And it's on Kindle Unlimited, I believe. Yeah, it's on Kindle Unlimited. So there were some books I read in the middle of this, I had a DNF. I had to DNF Light Lark because I forgot about it, and then I moved on to a different book. I'm gonna try to reread it this year, but Light Lark, Phantasma, Queen of Nothing. So my 16th book of the year was Gothicana by Runix. I rated it 3 stars. It kind of reminded me of Crimson Peak. It was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, teacher ex student, which I'm not. I mean, this book was dark. This book was filled with spice, romance, mystery, plot twists, and hints of psychological thriller. I recommended it for people who need a spooky season book, like a dark romance. The song that came to my head while reading this was Teacher's Pet by Melanie Martinez. It was a little crazy. The next video I do will probably be the books I want to read in 2025, but that was my books of 2024 reading wrap up. If y'all have any questions, I'm going to link my Goodreads down below. But if y'all have any questions, just let me know. Any book recs you need, I'm the girl. Okay? Any book recs, I can tell you. Have a great day and Happy New Year!